The fire is low. The room is quiet. You're still awake again. Your mind, maybe, wandering far beyond this hour. So let's go there together, not far from the banks of the Nile, where the desert meets memory, lies the story of a queen, a woman who ruled, loved, and when her time came, refused to make the journey alone. Tonight, we travel to ancient Nubia, where the line between life and death was not so firm, and where a tomb could hold a kingdom. Before we begin, tell me, where are you watching from? And what time is it there? It's always curious. Who else is awake at this hour, letting history keep them company? And now, let your mind drift across time and sand. You find yourself standing at the edge of a golden desert in the kingdom of Kush, around the year 700 BCE, where the story of a queen and her eternal court awaits. Welcome to ancient Nubia. You stand at the edge of the desert. It stretches out before you, quiet and endless, like someone paused the world a long time ago and forgot to press play again. The air smells like dust and old sun. Your sandals press into the warm sand, soft and slow, and everything feels a little too still, like history's been holding its breath. You've arrived in the ancient kingdom of Kush, just south of Egypt, where the Nile still cuts through the land like a lazy blue thread. Around 700 BCE, this was no forgotten corner of the world. This was power, gold, strategy, and queens. So many queens. One of them, a quiet force wrapped in linen and fire, is why you're here. Her name has been worn down by time, but her story, her choice, still echoes in sandstone. You walk toward the tomb. It's not just any burial site. It's one of dozens tucked into the desert, lined up like small pyramids, built for royalty who didn't care what Egypt thought about grandeur. These tombs are compact, efficient, and quietly magnificent, like a confident nod instead of a dramatic entrance. And inside this one, there's a queen who refused to be alone, not in life, not in death. Historians still debate her exact name. Maybe it was Amanisha Cato, maybe not, but her burial left no doubt. She expected company, and she brought them with her. Not symbols, not carvings, actual people. Yes, real servants, gone from life, buried beside her, to serve in eternity. You move closer to the tombs. The desert is still, but not silent. Wind rustles over stone, and in that sound, you almost hear voices. They say the kingdom of Kush had many queens, warrior queens, priestess queens, mothers of kings, and queens in their own right. Some ruled beside pharaohs, some ruled over them, and this one, the one buried here, she chose her own ending. She didn't plan a lonely departure. She choreographed a ceremony. This wasn't just a burial. It was a procession into the forever. And she wasn't going alone. You imagine the preparations? Linen folded, gold polished, words whispered. Servants, friends, maybe lovers, all gathered. Did they know what they were preparing for? Did they choose? Did they kneel willingly beside her? Or were they simply claimed by tradition's gravity? Historians still debate. how voluntary these deaths were, but whether by duty or devotion, they came, their bodies, their tools, their roles, all carefully placed beside hers. It's not just haunting, it's precise, deliberate, almost theatrical. This tomb wasn't built to mourn, it was built to host. And the queen? She would not be alone. The tomb is dim, but not bleak. Torchlight flickers across the walls, casting long shadows that dance like memories. You take a slow step inside, your feet brushing against fine sand that sifted through centuries. And there she lies, the queen, her body wrapped in linen, her hands crossed gently over her chest, still, serene, and entirely surrounded. All around her lay the figures of her court, not statues, not carvings, people, real people, gone from breath, but still arranged, as if attending her final audience. There's a musician, a lyre at his side, a cook, arms curled near jars of grain and dried fish, guards, with spears still leaning beside them, each placed with care, each lying still, and all here for her, to serve, to accompany, to follow. It's not an accident. This wasn't a plague or a collapse. This was a plan. In the kingdom of Kush, royalty often carried their world with them into the next one. Food, tools, jewelry, furniture, even hair combs. But this queen, she brought people because she believed life didn't stop. It just continued somewhere softer. And she wanted company. That's how certain she was that her next world would need music and meals and guards at the door. You sit with the silence, and it sits with you. This wasn't just about power. It was about continuity. The queen wasn't demanding worship. She was designing comfort. Imagine being so sure that death wasn't the end, that you curated your forever, like a private lounge. And maybe it wasn't even selfish. Some of the servants, they weren't dragged. They volunteered. Or so the story goes. Some scholars believe these people may have seen this as an honor, to serve the queen in this life and the next. And there are signs, small carvings, symbols etched in rock that hint at a deeper meaning. These tombs weren't dark places. They were thresholds, doorways, gates. Beautiful, if a little dramatic. The walls show dancing, feasting, boating across stylized rivers, into other worlds lush with gold and shade. One mural shows the queen, seated beneath a sycamore tree, a servant handing her fruit. Not grim, not terrifying, just comfortable, like she expected paradise to feel like late afternoon. Of course, not everything is clear. Historians still argue. Were the servants truly honored, or were they pressured? Was this consent or command? The truth, as usual, probably lives in the in-between. But what we do know is that this wasn't rare. It was ritual. And this queen, she followed it faithfully. And personally, she didn't just go quietly into the afterlife. She curated it. You picture her now, not just in death, but in life, wearing linen robes, a broad gold collar, resting on her shoulders, commanding with silence, more than words. This queen wasn't a myth. She walked. She ruled. She ate figs and managed taxes, and gave orders about grain shipments. Before sunset, people bowed. They waited. They watched her face for the smallest change. And when the time came, they didn't just bury her. They obeyed her final command. And that command was simple. Come with me. Some came peacefully. Some, maybe not. But here they are, laid out with intention, positioned with purpose, like cast members in the closing scene of a sacred play. The ancient Nubians believed that the afterlife wasn't a lonely float through the stars. It was social. It was structured. It was familiar. A continuation, not a reset. So naturally, a queen would expect her court to be there too. Her cook, her guard, her lyre player. They weren't props. They were people she trusted to be by her side, even in death. You wonder, did they believe in this too? Did they see death as a promotion of sorts? A transfer to a better court? Or did they only see dust? The questions pile up, quiet and soft, like sand in the corners of the tomb. And then you blink, and the tomb feels just a little warmer. You imagine, just for a moment, what she believed she'd wake up to. A room, but brighter. A palace, but peaceful. Servants carrying sweet wine, and fruit cooled by river water. A breeze through the curtains. Her favorite music, played softly from another room. No pain, no dust, no endings, only continuation. This wasn't fantasy. Not to her. To the Kushites, the afterlife was a place, with rules, with seasons, with songs. Death wasn't a vanishing. It was a relocation. Somewhere better, somewhere deserved. They believed if you lived well, you passed gently, and your next life was just the next chapter. And maybe it wasn't even so different. You still had work, status, meals, celebrations. You just didn't age anymore, or worry about grain taxes. One mural in a nearby tomb shows a queen crossing a golden river, guided by ancestors. Another shows her receiving blessings from gods with lion heads and sun-disk crowns. It's beautiful and strange, and scholars still argue if this was literal belief or symbolic reassurance. But either way, this queen believed enough to make room for a full household. Even in her silence, she is surrounded. You step back just a little to take in the full room. Time doesn't move in here. It rests. The queen at the center, her court around her, everything in balance. Somewhere between a burial and a reunion, the desert outside stretches for miles. But in here, the world feels small, held together by gold bands, braided hair, and silence. And maybe that's what she wanted. Not grand monuments, not eternal fame, just presence. She didn't ask to be remembered by name. She asked to be surrounded. She asked not to go alone. And that wish, that quiet, heavy wish, was fulfilled. Even now, centuries later, you feel it, that this place wasn't meant to scare. It was meant to comfort, like a well-worn blanket, like a bedtime story, told every night, by candlelight. And when you walk back out into the fading sun, you carry her still, that queen of silence, that woman of presence, who curated her afterlife, like a banquet invitation. And everyone came. Some scholars still wonder what this says about power, about belief, about choice. But you just feel a kind of ancient stillness settle in your bones. The wind greets you again. As you leave the tomb, it brushes past your face, warm, soft, and unhurried. The sun is low now, casting long amber shadows over the sand. You look back once, just once, and the tomb, with its quiet guardians and peaceful queen, sits quietly in the golden dust, not forgotten, not lonely, just complete. You walk slowly, your footsteps soft, as if not to wake the past. There's something gentle in the air, like the ending of a lullaby. The kingdom of Kush still sleeps beneath the sand, and in that sleep, it still breathes. If you close your eyes, you can almost hear a lyre playing, laughter, ceremony, an entire world, not gone, but resting. And maybe that's what this story was, all along. Not about death, but about trust, and time, and a quiet human hope of not being alone. So as you lie down now, under your own sky, let that thought stay with you, that somewhere a queen still dreams, surrounded by her loyal court, their story drifting through time, like wind through the reeds. And maybe, for tonight, you dream with them. And the world around you, the one with messages, and deadlines, and bright, blinking screens, can wait. Let the sand cover the noise. Let the stars turn slowly overhead. Tonight belongs to softer things, to long-forgotten queens, to quiet loyalty, to rooms lit by torchlight, and the hush of ancient stone. You don't need to do anything now. Not fix, not scroll, not run. Just breathe. Just be here. Because even across centuries, someone else once stood still like this, watching the wind shift, trusting that rest was something earned and sacred. So take yours fully. Let it be enough. Let the silence stretch out like the Nile itself. And if your eyes drift closed now, may they carry you gently, like a boat across still water, to whatever waits on the other side of sleep. And thank you for dreaming with us.